2, 1. Last weekend, the Wartburg College community was rocked by the discovery of some hateful messages on one of the campus's vehicles. So they had organized this "Hate Doesn't Belong Here" rally out inside of the McCaskey Lyceum here at the Wartburg College campus.
Will feature speakers from our Wartburg and Waverly community, along with poems and quotes that support inclusive environments. We would like to start with a poem included in the IS 101 reader. All right, this is the common text for all IS 101 courses. My Andalus, still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room?
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise.
Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes? Shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries?
Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs?
Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise.
Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise.
I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise.
Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise.
I rise.
I rise.
Although their approach was ethnically and racially limited, our founders built this school on a foundation more powerful than they could have appreciated. What binds us together as Wartburgers is the very same thing that animated our founders. All of us in this community are bound to one another by our firm belief, our conviction that we're called to learn, to improve, to become educated, not for the sake of ourselves, but for the sake of others. We value education so that we can fill important roles of leadership and service in the world. To that end, we build a community that embraces and celebrates the rich diversity of our students, faculty, and staff. For we know that human differences are assets. The many interests, contributions, characteristics, and perspectives of our community enrich us, making us ever more capable of exercising leadership and offering service. That's not to say that we never disagree with one another. In this community, we welcome disagreement and debate. Given our many differences, how could it be otherwise? The opportunity to contend with one another is one of the blessings that diversity brings us. What we do insist upon, though, is that our disagreements, our contentions, be framed within the climate of embrace and celebration that reflects the Lutheran intellectual and faith traditions. That's why I hold dear Martin Luther's admonition based on the 8th Commandment. Do not tell lies about our neighbors, betray or slander them. Instead, come to their defense, speak well of them, and interpret everything they do in the best possible light. So my comments are simple to summarize. Embrace one another. Celebrate the differences among you, knowing that you enrich one another's lives as you prepare to answer the calls you will hear.
When I see I get a free hug right here.
You had the hug with Coach Miller when he started speaking. How did that What do you think about that?
It made my day, that's for sure. So it was different. Like he's come to talk in a class before, but I've never really had interactions with him before that.
We do now. I want to talk about it just for a minute. What I've tried to live out the last 27 years I've been here at Wartburg. Number one, you don't let anybody else get in the way of your own success. What you can accomplish here on your teams, in your organizations, with your friends and classmates is unlimited. It's unlimited here. I've had students as a coach from all corners of our country, from several other countries. You learn from each other, you encourage each other, and you lift each other up all along the way. This creates a...
Although their features jive, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same.
So, as you guys know, there was an incident this weekend, which kind of, is the reason why a lot of us are here. But this is not the first time that hate has been prevalent on this campus. And I believe that this weekend's incident was just a wake-up call. It has just made us more aware of the hate that has been prevalent. But this is not an isolated incident. I believe that it is Wartburg's responsibility to respond, but I don't think that it's Wartburg's fault. We say hate has no place here, but it does, because hate has a place in America. It's tolerated, accepted, and at times even given power. Hate has a place in schools, churches, and workplaces. So when we say hate has no place here, we aren't saying a fact, but rather calling for action. It's declaring that we will no longer make room for hate. That it will not be tolerated, it will not be excused, and it is certainly not welcome.
We all know that we attend a predominantly white institution. As much as Wartburg tries to facilitate conversation about diversity and inclusion, the simple fact is that our largest majority student population is white. For this reason, it may be easy for some of us to forget about the racial tension that can occur even and especially at a school like Wartburg. For most white and or Christian students, it's easy and comfortable to sit in the campus majority without a reminder that racism and bigotry are alive and well. And that's what makes events like this, appearance of racial slurs on a campus vehicle, seem isolated and surprising. But what I found truly heartbreaking is the knowledge that this may not have come as a surprise to some of our students of color on campus.
I do want you to know two things, though. First, I want you to know that whatever your reaction to these events was, it is valid. You are not overreacting. You are not underreacting. Your fear is valid. Your anger is valid. Your sadness is valid. Your shrugging it off is valid. Your reaction is in response to who you are as an individual, your background, past experiences, and personality, all things that make you a valuable member of this community. Secondly, she said, I want you to know that we love you. Each of you have helped create this thing we call the Wartburg family. You are a valuable part of this community, and we want you to be. You have an integral place here. Hate does not. This is a rally, so can I get a hate has no...
City as a whole, and I'm here to tell you right now, in the lieu of your theme, hate has no place in Waverly. Okay? We live in ever-changing times, and as we create more platforms to connect and reach out to one another, the world becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and so that we are all being observed, and we are all being accountable for our actions. And I hope that one day hate has no place throughout the world, really. As far as Waverly goes, I'm here to tell you that we want to welcome you with open arms. We have always welcomed Wartburg students with open arms. Our business leaders, our business community, every facet of the community just loves the fact that we have such a strong town and gown relationship. I mean, conversations all the time with business leaders, and inevitably, Wartburg always comes up in the conversation. What's Wartburg's stance on this? What is Wartburg doing with this? And so you're such a vital part of the fabric of our community. It's so important that you feel welcomed in the Waverly.
Who, when we met on Monday, said, well, maybe the theme should be no home for hate here. And for me, that comes from our theological and historical tradition, of which Dr. Colson spoke, where we believe in the Christian tradition that God's home is with mortals. And so I'm going to ask you to stand, and I'm not good at leading chants, although I was a cheerleader. So stand up. And you can't do this like the guys do, where you're just standing next to each other and you kind of say, yeah, yeah, yeah. I need you to actually turn and face somebody. Come on, you can do it. Yes, you all graduate. You've been able to face someone. Good. All right. And so what I would like you to say to the people you're facing is, you have a home here. Say it like you mean it. All right. And then I would like you to repeat to each other. Love has a home here. Love has a home here. That's a call to each other and a call to ourselves to live out that love, which has nurtured and guided and helped all of us.
Wonderful, thank you.
About this rally and the incident that precipitated it?
Well, I think the incident itself is just sort of it shows something that a lot of people don't realize is there more often than they realize, that racism is present basically anywhere, and even on a campus like Wartburg that I think has a really strong community and everyone's always nice, it still exists. But I was really glad to be here because we can turn something negative like that into this huge positive experience and bring everyone closer together.
It was the first time. We've never we've had like they said, similar incidents, but we never had a rally. So I think that this was just to show that we can be inclusive with each other. So I liked it.
So what do you think about the message that was expressed this morning?
It's obviously overwhelmingly positive, but it's really important, I think, that we come together as a community to let people know and let the entire community know that we're here to support everyone, and if you are someone who spreads hate, you have no place here.
So what do you think about what went on today?
Oh, I was really moved. I was delighted that so many people came on really short notice. I think Crystal and Cassie put out the word just a couple of days ago, and this was a great turnout. I mean, so many different groups. Again, the diversity of the student bodies. You get the drumline and the cheerleaders, and a lot of different students from different walks of life. It was wonderful event.
So, after all the speakers and the cheerleaders and the drumline performing, it shows that they want to find love between fellow man here at Wartburg College. From the campus of Wartburg College in Waverly, this is ERIC VANSICKLE reporting for Waverly Newspapers.